Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X research and professional physicist. And today I'd like to bring to you another one of my articles. This one is entitled Planet X Creating Earthquakes by Inducing Positive Plasma Current Flows. Now, in Article 501 entitled Planet X Induced Volcanic Eruptions, or like an Earth CME, I detailed the observation that there had to be a Planet X system stellar core above the Popo volcano on December 16, 2018, when it erupted, as some of the lava issuing from the volcano remained suspended in mid-air and actually seemed to flow across the surface of an object hovering above the volcano, and this is what you can see here. The lava on the object moved upwards and seemed to spark and erupt as well. In addition, there was a bright flash as the eruption began, which was reminiscent of a solar flash or a solar flare and CME, and which means coronal mass ejection event that has been observed on the Sun many times, which the Planet X system stellar cores are also responsible for. And you may look at Article 365 entitled Planet X, the cause behind CMEs. So as you can see the lava exploding, seems to be exploding from the volcano. But at the same time, lava seems to be exploding from this point above the volcano. And there was nothing there but atmosphere. So there had to be an object there to which this lava attached, and then it actually kept moving away from the surface of the Earth, or flowing and exploding up from that point where it first attached. And here you can see some of the screenshots of that eruption. You can see that this tip of the volcano became extremely bright. There was this flash like a solar flare. And you can see the lava is extremely bright here, emitting a lot of light. You can see the lava up there as well. And this is later. It's not as bright as it flows down the sides of the volcano. So notice the lava issuing out of the volcano appears to be extremely bright at first. It glows as if undergoing an explosion of light emission. This does not seem to be due to heat, but due to a light emission due to ionization, which then generates heat, as there is no reason for lava just below the surface to become suddenly hotter as it erupts, unless it is responding to an electric field. This looks like an electric field effect, which suggests that magma is plasma. The Earth is like a star on the inside. It ionizes material around its core to the point that it melts and becomes plasma. But since the inside of the Earth is positively charged, this is a positive ion plasma. The Earth must generate a positively charged potential from its core, which must be associated to the gravitational field that it also generates. It also generates in the core. As I showed in book 3 entitled Planet X Reveal Gravity and Light, gravity seems to be due to the strong force which attracts protons, which are positively charged and much more massive than electrons, and is thus associated to positively charged particles, which seem to be much more abundant at the center of celestial objects than at the edges, and thus exhibiting the same structure which is apparent in the atom, as the atom as a positively charged nucleus and a negative outer layer. Now here you see a stellar core moving away from the Sun within CME material. So this is the CME material, there's the stellar core, and these objects are usually seen in solar images moving away from the Sun within CME material, because it is their presence that disrupts the Sun's electric field and causes the eruption in the first place. This object is nearly the same size as the Sun, as this image is based on LASCO C2 images. So this is the occulter. The Sun is much smaller. So this object is very large. I would say nearly the same size as the Sun, slightly smaller, but it's a very large object, and it is only very large objects that seem to cause the Sun to have a CME event. So why does the presence of a stellar core above a volcano induce a CME type event from the Earth? In other words, a volcanic eruption. Well, what we are seeing is a current or positive plasma responding to a field disruption. A current flows from high to low potential. The center of the Earth is at a high potential, and the stellar core hovering in the Earth's atmosphere is at a low potential. The Planet X system stellar core disrupted the Earth's positive electric field and prompted the explosive flow from inside the Earth. And this is illustrated here. So the Earth is positively charged on the inside, so it has a positive internal electric field. The stellar core is also a core of a celestial object, even though it's lost its outer layers because it went through basically died. It's no longer able to generate energy like the Earth can. So it's low in energy, but it's still positively charged. But the current flows from high potential to low potential. Even though it's just a positive current, it flows from one to the other. And that creates the explosion of positive plasma or magma from inside the Earth all the way to the surface through the volcano as a result of that electric field disruption. So stellar cores in turn are most likely attracted to regions on the Earth where this positive field is highest. In other words, where magma is closest to the surface. And if there is a weakness in the ground, their presence above the ground may induce a volcano to form at that point. Thus, volcanoes are like sunspots on the sun. They are regions of higher activity where plasma from the interior is able to reach the surface. Now, earthquakes are likely to be created through exactly the same mechanism, but in this case, the magma explodes upwards from the center of the Earth in response to the Earth's positive electric field being disrupted, but there is no volcano on the surface and thus no way for the magma to reach the surface. However, the impact underground at the point we cannot proceed any further creates an earthquake and may further break the rock in the area and even create new channels. Thus, although I thought before that earthquakes were due to electron currents, it seems more likely now that they are due to positive ion currents or positively charged plasma, which we usually call magma. And this formed close to the center of the Earth and now flows upwards towards the surface as far as it can go. And this is illustrated here. And this also suggests that what the Earth's structure is like, which I'll show below. But what we then have is channels that have been cut through the Earth's solid layers, possibly because of earthquakes that occurred before. In other words, current flows, this magma flows, which have before cut these channels by breaking up the rock and creating these channels. It may be empty, but the moment a stellar core hovers above that region over the Earth's surface, then there is a disruption of the magnetic field and there is a current flow, and that means the Earth attempts to cause plasma or magma to flow along that electric field that has been disrupted, along those electric field lines. And that means that if there is a way for it to move magma upwards, it will. But if there is no way for it to reach the surface, it will just explosively enter the channel and go as far as it can go and create an earthquake at the top, possibly create an even larger channel, break up the Earth some more. But this then would be how an earthquake would be created. So it's basically the same mechanism as what leads to volcanic eruptions. And then this suggests what the Earth's structure is like. And so this, I've shown here the internal and the external. So the Earth is positively charged and the core generates its positive electric field and its gravitational field. Here's the core. The Earth's gravitational potential also generates the outer negative electric field, which occurs in the gaseous part of the Earth's atmosphere or the Earth's of the Earth as a planet, and that's the outer layer, which is the least dense, and it's gaseous, and it's also negatively charged. So the Earth's gravitational potential also generates this field, and it does so by causing electrons to be repulsed by the core so that they end up in the outer atmospheric layer. And this is because the gravitational interaction causes protons and electrons to repulse each other. And this is explained in the book that I referenced. Now, the negative electric potential increases with altitude. So it is the electrons with the most gravitational photon energy in them that gather in the upper part of the atmosphere. So the electrons right at the top will have the most photon energy inside them and the highest negative electric potential. And then the electrons at the center of the Earth will have the least gravitational photon energy. There will be some electrons, but there will be many more protons than electrons, and the further you move towards the core, the less electrons there will be, the more protons there will be. So it is a very proton dense region. Now, so the core generates the internal plasma, which is made of molten rock, because it generates energy, which causes this part of the Earth to melt, and basically it's molten rock or magma. But it's also positively charged, and therefore it's also a plasma. It's a positive ion plasma. So in conclusion, Planet X system stellar cores are the cores behind both seismic, in other words earthquake, and volcanic activity on the Earth. And the mechanism is the same. It is due to a current of positive ions or a plasma flux from the Earth's interior to the surface region above which a stellar core is hovering. These objects are the reason why the Earth has volcanoes, why the surface is broken, why there are so many fault zones, and why there are earthquakes. These events occur through the same mechanism that created solar flares and CMEs on the Sun, which are also caused by the Planet X system stellar cores. And these are the references. This is Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X physicist. Thank you for watching.